You don't notice the hum at first, you feel it. Through the soles of your shoes, under your ribs, a low vibration that never stops. It's the ship breathing. The corridor light blinks awake. The air is cool and dry, smelling faintly of detergent and steel. Inside a space most passengers will never see, a crew member's cabin waits. Narrow, practical, with edges that teach you how to move through the world without wasting an inch. This is home. For now, you learn the door first. Heavy, spring-loaded, a quiet test of habit. Close it gently, always. The hallway echoes at odd hours, carts rolling, soft voices, the whisper of radios. Your cabin is not a secret, it's a pause, a place where the noise fades to a manageable hush, where shoes line up under the bunk and the uniform hangs like a promise on a hook. The ceiling is lower than you expect. Your thoughts learn to duck. 2 bunks, sometimes 3. A narrow closet with a safe that clicks shut. A bathroom you can turn around in if you plan it right. Chrome warm from the last shower. The mirror fogging and clearing like a tide. You fold towels into the same shape every time because routine is a kind of anchor. There's a small desk, a chair that slides under it at an angle, and a shelf that holds the important things: phone, charger, a photo from home. The sea is somewhere out there, past steel and decks and engines, but you feel it in the sway. A gentle press left, a slow return right. Your body starts to move without thinking, balancing cups, timing steps, bracing a knee as you tie laces. Morning begins before sunrise, always. You wake to an alarm and the soft shuffle of roommates becoming shadows. The air smells like soap and warm linen. Someone's kettle clicks. The corridor outside is cooler. The fluorescent lights hum with a soft insistence. You move single file because there is no room for pride down here, just good manners. It's a floating city and you live in the neighborhood with the narrowest streets. People nod in passing, housekeeping uniforms crisp, galley staff in white jackets, entertainment techs with coiled cables over a shoulder. Everyone is awake and the day has already started somewhere else. You learn the rules because the rules keep you afloat. Door closed when balcony doors are open, pressure can turn a moment into an accident. Hallways clear, no shoes outside, no bags at the threshold. Toilets and vacuum lines are not a joke. Paper goes down, everything else does not. You listen when safety speaks because the ocean doesn't negotiate. There is dignity in knowing the small things and keeping them small. You keep your badge safe. You keep your cabin number on a card inside your luggage. You keep your footsteps light. In the quiet moments, you notice the cabin's choreography. The curtain over the bunk is more than fabric. It is privacy on a rail. When it's closed, the world shrinks to a cocoon lit by a phone screen, the air warm with your own breath. You write messages you won't send yet because the ship's Wi-Fi is a tide too, sometimes generous, sometimes gone. You learn to download before sail away. You learn to switch to airplane mode before the satellite networks nibble at your paycheck. Somewhere up on deck, passengers are laughing over breakfast. Down here, your roommate snores softly, and a hook creaks as the ship lists and settles. It's not silence, but it's yours. Cabin life is compromise. 2 people brushing teeth in a space meant for one. A towel hung to dry where it won't drip on a charging phone. A suitcase that becomes a drawer because drawers make noise at midnight. You pack smart. You label. You keep what you need and give away what you don't because there's no room for maybe on a long contract. You learn the temperature sweet spot on the thermostat, cool enough to sleep, warm enough that the mirror doesn't shiver. You place earplugs and an eye mask by the pillow because rest is currency. Sometimes the ship reminds you who's in charge. A metal door slams in the distance and the echo runs like a wave down the corridor. A sudden thump from above, chairs being set for morning service on the pool deck long before the sun stains the horizon. If you're under a galley, you can map breakfast by the sounds alone. pans, racks, the staccato rhythm of trays. If you're aft, you feel the engines like a second heartbeat. On rougher nights, the hanger taps the closet wall. Tap, tap, tap. You learn to pat it with a sock and go back to sleep. There are kindnesses that make the cabin larger. A roommate who sets their alarm to vibrate, not ring. A shared rule: doors don't slam, not even at shift change. A small nightlight that keeps stubbed toes from becoming legends. You agree on cleaning days. You wipe the sink and squeegee the shower because water finds edges and edges rust. You tuck a small bag in the wardrobe for laundry runs. On special weeks, you watch for the fill-a-bag deal and divide the cost like shipmates. Little systems turn chaos into a routine that breathes. Occasionally, the cabin becomes a story you tell later. The time the balcony door upstairs blew open and you heard a door 3 cabins down slam like thunder. The time the air handler clicked and clicked until an engineer came and made it vanish with a turn of a wrist. The night you came home after a late shift, shoes soft on the vinyl, and found a note from your roommate. "Night watch. Wake me for breakfast if I snore through the alarm." You smiled in the dim light and let them sleep. The ship hummed. You washed your hands in warm water and felt the day lift off like salt. This is where crew learn invisible timing. Showers staggered between shifts, phone calls placed when the Wi-Fi isn't a crowd, FaceTime angled so the person you love can see your eyes and not the cramped space behind you. You talk about ordinary things, what they ate, what you ate, the smell of strong coffee, the weather back home. The conversation is normal until the delay turns it into a dance, words crossing the ocean with a half-second lag. You both learn to wait. You both learn to smile into a pause. On port days, the cabin feels different. You turn the key and the air holds a trace of sunscreen and fresh laundry. Your shoes are sandy. You tap them over the bin. You set your watch back to ship time because land time doesn't care if the gangway lifts at 5. You lay out tomorrow's uniform like a small act of respect. You take 5 minutes to sit on the lower bunk and breathe, letting shore noise fade, horns, heat, voices, until the hum reclaims you. There are unspoken hierarchies. Seniority earns a little more room, sometimes a cabin with a window that frames a slice of blue. New crew learn fastest, how to navigate silence without making it heavy, how to ask for what you need without making it loud. Someone shows you the best place to stash an extra bottle of water. Someone else tells you which hours the laundry is empty. Knowledge passes hand to hand, soft as a folded towel. People imagine crew cabins as punishment. They're not. They're purpose. They make you efficient. They turn minutes into something you can save. You sit at the desk and write 3 lines in a notebook that still smells like paper. Today was long. The show went clean. The guest who complained yesterday smiled. You underline the last word because it matters. Your pen scratches quietly while the air system whispers. You close the notebook and the world shrinks to what you can carry. Sometimes you miss a bigger room, and then you remember what a bigger room costs. Commute, rent, time. Here, your commute is a staircase that smells faintly of metal and cleaner. Your rent is paid in hours and care. Time is different at sea, measured in sailaways and safety drills, in pillow mint seasons and new crew rotations. You measure your own days in small victories, a better fold on the uniform collar, a shoe that doesn't squeak, a new habit that makes the morning gentler. There are rules about what you don't do in a cabin. You don't hang wet clothes over sprinkler heads. You don't store anything in the hallway, not even just for a minute. You don't treat the minibar like it's included. You don't play music out loud at 2 a.m., even if you're the only one awake. You don't leave the door to slam. These rules aren't there to make your life smaller. They protect the fragile piece that lets your life fit here at all. You decorate with quiet things, photos taped inside the locker, a postcard tucked into the mirror's edge, a small magnet on the metal wall that holds a note, drink water, a fabric sachet, a tiny flag. Nothing that falls, nothing that burns. A ship is a calculus of caution and care, and the cabin teaches you to respect it. You start to notice your breathing when you close the curtain at night. In, out, hum, sway. The rhythm becomes a lullaby. When 2 days off in a row finally arrive, you clean like you're resetting a compass. Sheets tucked tight. Shower scrubbed until the chrome shines like morning. You toss the lint from the vent. You empty the trash and feel the room exhale. Then you make it yours for a while. Book open, feet up, headphones in, the soft click of the door announcing a roommate who pauses, sees your eyes, and nods. Enjoy. You nod back. The cabin is small, but respect makes it large. Midway through the contract, homesickness tightens in the chest when you least expect it. Between shifts, at the sink, while you're brushing your teeth and the water runs warm over your knuckles. You breathe through it. You send a message that starts with a joke. You wait for the reply that turns the ache into a manageable weight. You look at the photograph again. The corners are curling from the humidity, but the smile in it still feels like sunlight. If you've ever lived like this, curtain closed, socks drying on a hanger, the soft click of a safe that keeps your small valuables, and your bigger courage, leave your story below. We read them all. Your words help the next crew member feel less alone. On turnaround days, the cabin is a mission. Bags packed tight. Inventory low. Chargers wound in neat loops. You run a hand along the shelf to make sure nothing will slide when the ship pivots away from the pier. You double-check the card in your luggage with your name and cabin number, insurance against the chaos of conveyors and carts. You've seen what happens when a paper tag tears. You've watched a suitcase take a longer vacation than its owner. Not this time. Night settles like a blanket laid carefully over the ship. The air is cooler. The corridor quiets to a gentle presence. You stand with a hand on the frame and listen to the engine sing a note you can't name. Somewhere above, thousands of passengers are living their best version of escape. Down here, in this small room, where the mirror holds just enough of your face to remind you who you are, you feel something simple and steady. Pride, not the loud kind, the kind that breathes. Tomorrow you will wake before the sky gets its color back. You will move the same careful way, close the door the same quiet way, tie your shoes the same practiced way. You will pour coffee that smells like calm. You will step into work carrying the invisible map of this ship in your muscles, this cabin in your bones, this life in your chest. And when the day feels bigger than you are, you will come back here, and the room will shrink the worry until it fits. It isn't glamorous, it isn't easy, but it is real. It belongs to you as much as the ocean belongs to the horizon. The corridor hums, the light fades, the ship keeps moving. And so do you. You're watching Cruise Threads, where the real stories sail below deck.